What up, fam? Brickmania's M4A2E8 Sherman Fury Tank Museum Easy 8. So it's been a while since I've done a review or anything to do with a Brickmania set. And if you don't know or are new to the channel, before my Black Falcon army, I've placed a lot of money and focus on Brickmania and other custom LEGO sets. I actually have a decent backlog on unopened Brickmania sets to include a lot of minifigures. And if you haven't watched the beginning of a Beyond the Brick video, Brickmania is a custom military LEGO company that focuses primarily on custom military LEGO sets and minifigures. They're like the biggest buyer on Bricklink. In fact, LEGO is profiting off this company. So does that mean LEGO's making military sets? So Brickmania and I have a good standing history. We collaborate when we can and have always supported one another when the opportunity arises. It was what I was known for in the LEGO community. I mean, one of my earliest and most successful videos was the original Brickmania Fury tank. Despite the poor video quality, it continued to do well. And please don't watch that video. Which brings the question, would you redo a YouTube video given the opportunity? I mean, I would say now that my editing, equipment, and style has changed significantly. But a little history. When I came out of my dark age, I learned that LEGO didn't make military sets. Well, usually. That's when I discovered Brickmania, and like all, shocked by how expensive their prices were. But when I saw the Fury rendition that they had, it was all downhill from there. Fury, which is not only the title of the movie, but the name of the tank, it's about a tank crew who stands up in unbeatable odds in an epic last stand. Although unrealistic and totally not accurate in many ways, still a good gritty movie filled with badassery. I mean, I watched the movie in theaters like 3 or 4 times, and like most men who've watched that movie, fell in love with his slick back hair and faded haircut. I'm one of those guys. I mean, I'm no Brad Pitt, but I couldn't not be War Daddy for Halloween. And if you were a tanker in the military, this was your movie. In fact, I wish I was a tanker at the end of the movie. And we always had a reassuring feeling when they were around. But I can't go back on being a tanker, but I can go forward on redoing my original Fury video. So the M4A2E8 Sherman Fury Tank Museum Easy 8 set number BKM 2419, number 39 of the batches that I've got, the second version of the original. Licensed from the Bovington Tank Museum in the UK, which not only houses 300 military machines from modern day to the past century, but also care for the famous last remaining working Tiger tank, Tiger 131, and some of the last remaining working Sherman tanks from the period. They actually allowed their Tiger and Shermans to be working in the movie. Usually in war movies, the Shermans and Tiger tanks are replicas and aren't the real thing. But in this movie, they were. The set is designed by Dan Siskin, the founder and leader of Brickmania, and if you're not familiar who he is, he's the original designer of the set 3739 Blacksmith Shop that inspired one of my favorite LEGO sets, 21325, the Medieval Blacksmith Shop, which started my Black Falcon army. I mean, he's like the OG ideas and Kuso designer. This set has about 835 LEGO Brick Armor Brickmania pieces. I would say this is about 98% brand new LEGO pieces, a little bit of Brick Arm weapons, and a few 3D printed parts that LEGO doesn't make, obviously. It's priced out at about $570 before tax. Now, before we get into a large conversation in the comments, I'm just going to read a reply to a comment, which I should just copy and paste from now on. Trust me, I get a lot of these. Brickmania uses LEGO pieces purchased from Bricklink. So as LEGO makes thousands of pieces per cent, Brickmania buys thousands of pieces at 25 cents to the dollar. The only other sources that they get their things from are brick arms for their weapons and custom 3D parts that they make themselves. Just the printing equipment alone that they use are in the 100K per machine. Now that's from parts to packaging. Plus they have to pay for overhead. That includes payroll for over 200 employees. I'm seriously exaggerating that, which is US pay scale, rent or lease, insurance, taxes, electricity, gas, packaging materials, machinery, advertising, and other equipment, supplies, etc. Everything is hand sorted into sets, not by machines as others are. I've sourced parts from their instructions that they sell, so for a $1,000 set, it costs almost $300 to $400 to buy parts on Bricklink before shipping. But you have to remember, you have to pay the 15 people who designed, sourced, and put together the exact set you're playing with. And for any business to succeed, you have to make a profit. Otherwise, it's wasted energy and they wouldn't be able to stay in business. I mean, I think I've said this so many times. Now, the set skill level is 4 to 5. Now, this was a huge wake-up call in the difference between LEGO and customs. Did you even know that LEGO had a patent on numbered bags? I mean, that's some shiesty but genius move on their part.
Because LEGO somehow got a design patent on instructions for buildable toys
Good for them. That
that
is
you
sad.
can follow along
Shiesty
with
Lego.
numbered or lettered bags.
I mean, they just lost the patent now, so other companies can do it too. But for a while, that was the case. Unfortunately, Brickmania just still doesn't do the number bags, even though I've kind of hinted that they should numerous times. It's like building a Lego set from like when I was a kid. There are no numbered bags. The instructions don't tell you what pieces go where. It's not even highlighted. It just tells you what pieces to grab. Building experience isn't for the beginner. Ultimately, Brickmania doesn't have the same restrictions as Lego designers do when it comes to sets, and that's both good and bad. Brickmania though has a consistent 1/35 scale, whereas Lego just makes it to minifig and whatever other restrictions that dictate how their sets are going to be made. So stability for Brickmania is always a sacrifice, but I do know now that they do test build their sets and their instructions so they can ensure that both the instructions are easy to follow as well as the build to be as stable as it can be. The set comes with 5 minifigures to include Don Collier, aka War Daddy, played by Brad Pitt with that cool looking slick back hairpiece. Norman Ellison, played by Logan Lerman, who always plays like these weak, shady characters who someone has to pull out. Boyd Swan, also known as Bible, played by the controversial yet super talented Shia LaBeouf. Grady Travis Kunas, that's the best nickname ever, played by John Bernthal. I mean, the Punisher, like a serious badass in any character he plays. Does anyone here watch his podcast? I mean, it's one of my faves. And Trini Garcia, aka Gordo, played by Michael Pena, a self-taught amazing actor. The original Fury tank came in 2 sets. The original M4A3E8 set number BKM 2220 at $280, which you also needed the Hollywood add-on pack, which was set number BKM 2222 at $175, which came with extra pieces and figs, which came out to $455. And yes, the newer version is about $100 more, but we also have to remember since the original, prices on everything has gone up, let alone there are no stickers and it's all printed. The frame of the newer version of the tank is consistent to the sizing of all Brickmania's Shermans, which the original wasn't. It was a little beefy than it should be. This one, the frame is accurate to the rest of the Sherman tanks. This time, it's all high quality 3D printing with no stickers. The older one had raised 3D printing, which I kind of preferred, versus this newer one where it's all flush to the brick. I'm not sure why they didn't do it this time, maybe because of cost and too much ink, but still I prefer the trade-off of just having no stickers and all printing. I mean, Lego can learn something from this. Both tanks have almost all the attributes needed to convey the Fury tank as can be. The German helmet and gas mask, extra tank treads, MREs and ammo to include the 30 and 50 cals. The logs that are also present on both, I first prefer the older style with the Lego log print, then the 3D version for the new, but when putting them together, I'm not really quite sure which one I prefer. The building process for the new felt about the same, but this one, although fragile in some areas, way more durable than the old. The 3D brick arms are still well made as done before, but this time, Brickmania has the ability to 3D print pieces that they couldn't get before, such as custom tank helmets, hats, and hair, etc. Which leads to figures. Hands down. The newer ones are more detailed and realistic to their on-screen counterparts, but the old still did the trick, and these are only slightly upgraded. It's a little hard to upsell the new ones when the older ones were already excellent with their artwork. This time though, you have Brad Pitt's fade and slick back hairstyle. You can tell, right? I'm still fanboying over it. Which this figure is also complemented by the German STG-44 Perfect Caliber that is given to War Daddy, replicating what he uses in the movie. If you're not familiar with a Perfect Caliber, it's Brickmania taking a brick arms weapon and 3D printing over it, giving it a more realistic look. And it was a last upgrade to a beautiful looking set. But still, the newer version of this set was a huge upgrade to the last. A lot has changed since the set has come out. New machines, new capabilities, new art, better skill. Many people have left and joined the team. A lot of great things have happened in between the release of the original to this new, all of which have made it an amazing ride so far. So how did this all compare? Is the new better than the old?